Good evening. The Yreka City Council for April 15th, 2025. This is our closed session portion of the meeting. It's now 5:30 p.m. Do you have any public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment and we will go into our closed session. And we'll call the order council meeting for April 15th, 2025. The time is now 6:41 according to that clock. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. Just for our housekeeping, to make sure you silence your cell phones at this time. We did have closed session this evening, and we have no reportable action at this time. Okay, I'll do roll call. Councilman Clare.
Here.
Councilman Davis.
Here.
Councilman Baker.
Here.
And we were informed that Councilman McQuay is absent, so he is not here this evening, and Mayor Middleton present. Item number 6, approval of the agenda. What is the wishes of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Baker to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that motion.
And a second from Councilman Davis. I'll do roll call. Councilman Clare.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
Mayor Middleton, yes. So the motion passes 5-0. 4-0, I'm sorry. I used the 5. 4-0. Okay, we have no presentations at this time. We'll go to number 8, public comments. Public participation is welcomed and invited at all city council meetings. This time is set aside for residents to address the city council on matters listed on the consent agenda, as well as other items not included on the regular agenda. If your comments concern an item noted on the regular agenda, please address the council when that item is open for public comment. The city requests that persons addressing the city council refrain from making personal, slanderous, profane, and disruptive remarks. Council members, when recognized by mayor, may ask clarifying questions of the presenter, but no action may be taken by the city council during the public comment section of the meeting. Under the Brown Act, the city council is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any item not listed on the posted agenda. This time is set aside for residents to address the city council on matters listed on the consent agenda, as well as other items not included on the agenda. If your comments concern an item listed under the public comment hearing or new business sections of the agenda, please address the council when that item is open for public comment. Please speak into the microphone from the podium. The podium electronically adjusts up and down to accommodate the speaker. Please state your name for the record prior to providing your comments. Please address the council as a whole. If you have documents to present, please provide a minimum of 7 copies. These become public record. Please limit your remarks to 5 minutes. Since council is unable to take action on the issues not on the agenda, your matter may be referred to staff for follow-up or placed on a future agenda. The public comment period is not intended to be a question and answer period or conversations with the council or city staff. To have public comment at this time.
Mariachi. I would like to talk to the council about, I don't know if you all see it, but Medford has a huge fox problem, fox with rabies, and it's a link to the unhoused dogs that are not vaccinated that spread these rabies. And we have a ton of fox, greenhorn, even in the Greenway. And we have a ton of dogs that are not rabied. So I'm wondering if we can work on a way to get them rabies. And I know that it's the unhoused and oh my God, another handout. However, it's public safety. And we need to have our public people come to our park from all over. I was there yesterday, saw 2 people from Ashland here, and some people from Reno stopped because we have a beautiful park here. It's absolutely gorgeous. And they stop and they visit and they let their dogs play and whatnot, and there's animals everywhere. And you know, on the other side of that hill is the homeless dogs. And there's, I don't know that they've caught the 3 that are running amok, but we need a way to help our fox not get rabies from these dogs that are not rabied. And I checked with Elise to make sure, because last year she took it upon herself from SNP to go up to the shower trailers and give everybody parvo shots, thank God, on her dime also. But she's not a vet and she's not able to give rabies shots. So there were no rabies shots given. So I really need to find a way to be able to do this. And I know that Dr. X would do it. He gave a clinic out in Montague last year. They were $15 a shot. But and if you have 50 dogs for $15 a shot, that's $750 it would cost. And I know that there's probably not 50 dogs up there, but there's a lot of dogs up there. And we need all to make sure that they all have shots. Along with all the people in our city, there's people in our city who live here who don't license their dogs. And they don't give their dog rabies shots, so no one knows they even have a dog. We need that taken care of too. But rabies is a big deal. My sister got rabies when she was little, and she had to have 21 shots in her belly. And she almost died of rabies. So it's a big deal, and it needs addressed. So please, let's address it. Thank you very much.
Any other public comment?
Good evening. I'm Jan Osborne. I live in Yreka, California, and I'm here to talk about dogs too. But in particular, tonight, the 3 dogs that have been loose and abandoned in the Greenhorn Grange, Little Red Schoolhouse, Lower Greenhorn, and Behavioral Hill for at least 3 weeks. I go to that area every day after my walk at Greenhorn. I first saw them try to be captured by 2 YPD officers. 2 patrol cars were parked, 1 officer in the parking lot, the other one was up on the porch with the dogs, 2 of them back by the kitchen door by the Grange. The officer that was up on the porch went back to his car and opened the back of it and got out a control pole, at least that's what I think they're called, and went up, and the dog was cornered. But for some reason, he was not able to get it. And I'm here tonight to ask you to do whatever you can to get the YPD the equipment that they need to effectively act as animal control officers. Mainly, I think, nets and a live trap. A net that day, I think, would have been perfect. I showed 3 of you the pictures that I took of those 3 dogs today. They were interacting playfully with 3 adults right across from the Red Schoolhouse. These dogs are pretty tame. They could be captured. I have a real concern that they haven't been, because as one of the previous speakers said, they're probably not vaccinated. They're loose or banded. They don't have collars. They're probably not licensed. Of course, if they're not licensed, they're not vaccinated. So my plea is that you find out the cost, and I can help you with that because I checked tonight. Live traps can be purchased at Walmart, Ace Hardware, on Amazon, from anywhere from $40 to $180. Why we don't have a live trap available to our officers, I do not know. But today, when I called YPD after witnessing the 3 dogs playfully interacting with adults, the dispatcher told me she would let an officer know, but it seemed that when the officers would come to the dogs would bolt. But she said, we're working on a live trap. And I told her, I said, well, I've talked to you before, and I've talked to the president of the Grange. And 2 weeks ago or more, I was told that they were in the process of getting a live trap. 2 weeks to get a live trap? The dispatcher told me that they're working with the county to try to get a live trap. Why the county can't do it, I don't know. But evidently, it takes a long time. So if the city council would please come up with $180 or probably even less to get a live trap to capture those dogs. I have seen one of those dogs, the mother dog, be captured by a human being. Put her in his car, took her home. That night on the grapevine, I saw a picture of her sprawled on a bed. The next morning, when I went by the Grange, he was there returning the dog to the Grange area because she missed her pups. I think the most pertinent and poignant point I want to make is it appears to me that all 3 of those abandoned dogs are females. I know that the mother dog is. And sooner or later, those dogs are going to come into heat. And instead of having 3 abandoned dogs to capture and be concerned about, we're going to have 3 litters of dogs. Please do what you can to get the equipment to YPD that they need. Thank you.
Any other public comment at this time? Okay, I'll close public comment. We go on to item number 9, consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and non-controversial and will be enacted by one motion unless any member of the council wishes to remove any item for discussion. A, approval of minutes of the regular meeting held April 1st, 2025. B, motion to direct the city manager to approve fire waivers for the city stage and encroachment permit, downtown street closures, and hanging of an event banner along downtown Minor Street for the Siskiyou Beef and Brew event. The recommended city council action before you is the motion to adopt the consent agenda for the city council of the city of Yreka as presented.
Make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I have a motion from Councilman Clare,
I'll second the motion.
a second from Councilman Davis. I'll do roll call. Councilman Clare,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
and Mayor Middleton, yes. Motion passes 4-0. Okay, no public hearing. City business, city manager, city attorney. This is the agenda title, the second reading for the adoption of ordinance 881, distinguishing the fire hazard safety zones and amend sections of the Yreka Municipal Code regarding the fire hazard severity zones. Good evening, Mr. Ledbetter.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Yreka City Council. This is Jason Ledbetter, the city manager. So Chief Lemos is out. City Attorney, Mr. Jared, is here to also answer questions on this particular item, but I will be presenting this evening. And so we're here for the second reading and adoption of an ordinance to designate fire hazard severity zones and amend sections of the Yreka Municipal Code regarding fire hazard severity zones. So this matter was considered by the City Council at its meeting on April 1st, 2025. The council unanimously approved introducing the attached ordinance and map for first reading. The ordinance and map are presented here for second reading and adoption. The full staff report and supporting documentation for the April 1 presentation can be accessed on the city's website where the agenda center or agendas are located in the agenda center, beginning at page 111 of the packet. And so the recommended action this evening, there's 3 actions here to be taken. Consider the fire hazard severity zone map as recommended by the state fire marshal, amended to include parcel data, which is attachment 1.b. 2, waive the full reading of an ordinance designating fire hazard severity zones as recommended by the state fire marshal and amend chapter 11.10 of the Yreka Municipal Code, which is attachment 1.A. And then 3, obviously read following ordinance by title only, which is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Yreka, California, adopting the fire hazard severity zone map and amending Title 11, Chapter 11.10 as fire hazard severity zones. And so if you'll recall, one of the major, or not major, but one of the minor caveats to what we did with this fire hazard severity zone map is that we have an overlay of all the parcels in the community. So it's much more convenient and easy for people to access if they are interested. One of the requirements in this ordinance, you'll notice, is that this has to be extremely accessible to the public. So not only is it accessible inside of City Hall, it is also accessible on the main page of our website. If you go to the main page, there's 6 what they call widgets on the bottom that are direct access. One of them is the agenda. You would click on that and immediately go to the agenda. In the center of those widgets is an icon that looks like fire, and it says fire hazard severity map. That is a requirement of passing this ordinance. And so ultimately for the public, they can access the map, they can zoom in on the map, and they can tell within that parcel that they are living in which fire hazard severity they're currently in. And then ultimately another caveat to this ordinance is that in some instances, the reason that we did this is because the fire severity map may actually only be partially on certain parcels. And so we are stating that if it is on a parcel, that severity, that highest severity, then takes precedence for everything on that individual parcel. So I am here to answer any questions this evening. And also Mr. Jared, who worked really the most on this item, is also here to answer questions. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ledbetter. Any questions from council for Mr. Ledbetter or Mr. Jared? Mr. Davis? Councilman
I
Davis?
think I do. I might have asked this last time, but what, this is something that's going to help the city, and how does it do that?
Yeah, this is a state law requirement ultimately. And so the fire hazard severity maps have been in play for many decades, and ultimately they've been updated many times since their inception. And so ultimately, this is now state law, and part of the requirement is that as being a local agency is an adoption of state law. And so if there was not an adoption of this state law, my understanding, and Mr. Jared really should answer this question, is that it would already technically apply, even if the ordinance did not pass hypothetically, because inevitably it is state law. And so ultimately, you are acknowledging state law by passing this ordinance. You are changing the ability of our members of the community to better understand the map by doing an overlay of the parcels on it. And then you are also stating that you are going to take, if there is a parcel that has partially a high fire severity, and that is the technically or the most severe definition of high severity, that then the entire parcel would technically be considered that highest severity. So ultimately, you are just complying with state law by passing this particular ordinance.
Okay, I understand that perfectly well. But I'm not sure what the benefit to the city is for having this state law.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's beneficial. I think it would be controversial to say it's beneficial, but one of the things that will happen by instituting or passing this ordinance here is that ultimately there are a number of building codes and really fire codes or vegetation, issues that come into play that are dictated by the severity of certain parcels, that vegetation has to be set back a certain distance depending on the severity. And then that there's certain building codes that change the requirements, that a threshold, because you're in a high fire severity zone, and that there's higher probability that your new construction build would burn down. And so ultimately there's a higher standard of building code. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a benefit, because that would be controversial, but it is a caveat to this that ultimately comes into effect by passing it.
I think I understand. It allows the city to make the residents more safe from fire. So like if you have a tree, let's say, that's hanging on your house, fire marshal happens to come by and see it, he can require you to cut it down or to cut the limbs off the house type of a thing.
Absolutely. And I think that council member Baker had some questions last time, and I would about building code and hypothetically, if you had, let's say you were in a high severity zone within this map and you were getting a new roof put on and you were complying with the building code based on the severity zone that you are currently in, that ultimately there would not be uh, there would not be the city coming forward and saying, well, you need to have different siding. And now all of a sudden you have a $400,000 project. That would not happen. But what could happen and what I think will happen in this community is that we've always taken vegetation growth very seriously. And that ultimately, I do see that we would more than likely have code enforcement, and we would be utilizing new paid fire staff to do more outreach to basically enlighten and educate the community within these zones that they had opportunities to basically remove certain vegetation in order to comply with the code. I do see that more than likely would happen, and I would consider that a benefit to the communities that are in the high fire severity zones.
Thank you.
Any other council member with questions? No. Okay, I'll open it up to public for comments or questions for the city manager or the city attorney. No? Okay, I'll close the public comment and we'll return back to item 11A. What are the wishes of the council?
Well, I would like to make the motion to consider the fire hazard severity zone map as recommended by the state fire marshal, amended to include parcel data, which is attachment 1B of our packet, to waive the full reading of an ordinance designating fire hazard severity zones as recommended by the state fire marshal, and amend chapter 11.10 of the Yreka Municipal Code, which is attachment 1.A of our packet. And we are adopting this ordinance by title only, which is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Yreka, California, adopting the fire hazard severity zone map and amending Title 11, Chapter 11.10 as fire hazard severity zones.
Okay, I have the motion. Thank you. Motion from Councilman Baker. I will second the motion. I'll do roll call. Councilman Clare,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baker,
Yes.
and Mayor Middleton, yes. And the motion passes 4-0. All right. This is Human Resource Director. This is agenda title. This is 11B. The resolution 2025-13, the City Council of the City of Yreka approving the compensation resolution for unrepresented dispatcher employees.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm John Elsnab, I'm the HR director. For this resolution, to give some background, the city recently made a unit modification under the current employer-employee relations policy to separate the dispatcher classification from the Yreka Peace Officers Association Memorandum of Understanding. By separating the classification from the YPOA, the dispatchers are no longer represented under a union, although the city has established a compensation resolution, which you have tonight, that outlines wages and benefits for the respective classifications as follows. So they now have their own, instead of a memorandum of understanding, it's a benefits resolution where later on down the road they can organize if they'd like, and we would go through that process. To outline some of the benefits, if you'll see wages, I just want to speak on this for a second. We had a compensation study done for a majority of city classifications, and the dispatchers came back with the farthest out of market, probably out of any of the other classifications. So that's why when you see year one, 23% cost of living adjustment, that's to bring them to market when comparing to about 6 other agencies. The following 3 years would be a 3% COLA. Medical premiums are very similar to the county. 85% of PERS Gold would put us pretty standard with the county and many other agencies in the area, including longevity pay as a retention tool, vacation leave. We got rid of CTO time, comp time. And in lieu of that, we increased some of the vacation accruals, which eliminating comp time's a savings for the city. Deferred compensation match. The match didn't go up, but it's dollar for dollar instead of 50 cents on the dollar match. And we do have some language in this resolution on future salary surveys. It's not if we do a future salary survey and we come back where we're out of market, it's not a requirement that we get to market, but it's a standard we would follow moving forward to consider. And with that, my ask for the council would be to adopt this resolution, approving the compensation resolution for the unrepresented dispatcher employees, which is about five people, 1 position.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Elsa. Questions from council? Councilman Baker.
Mr. Elsnap, were the dispatchers okay with moving out of the YPOA?
There was no protest. There is a protest period through our employee resolution, and no one contested it, or the bargaining group didn't contest it. So they were moved without protest.
Thank you.
And I apologize. There's one more thing I'd like to point out. On page, I believe it's page 53 of the packet, on the compensation resolution, it'll be section 6.4 under. Maybe I'm ahead of myself. I'm sorry. That's on the next item. I apologize. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
Jumped ahead.
Any other questions from council? No? Okay. Public comment or questions? I'm sorry. Questions? Okay. Close the questions. And what are the wishes of the council? Sorry.
We had a motion time.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Mayor, on page 21 of our packet, is that the resolution of the city council of the city of Yreka? Is that it?
Yeah, we're on
25-13.
Yep.
All right. I'd like to move resolution of the city council of Yreka approving the compensation resolution for the unrepresentative dispatcher employees.
A motion from Councilman Davis.
I'll second the motion.
Second, Councilman Baker. I'll do roll call. Councilman Clare.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Baker.
Yes.
And yes, Mayor Middleton. The motion passes 4-0. Okay. You're up again. So this is agenda title 11C. This is discussion, possible action, adopting resolution of the City Council, City of Yreka approving, sorry, the compensation resolutions for the presented fire employees and authorize the city manager to recruit 6 fire positions.
Thank you. To give a summary on this, in November of 2024, the community voted to adopt Measure V, which provides funding for the city of Yreka to hire full-time fire staff for the community. City staff has put a plan together to recruit up to six full-time fire positions starting in July of 2025, which will be our next fiscal year. The 6 positions will be a combination of job classifications that are attached in this staff report. They've been developed by staff and the fire department accordingly. in order to perform fire operations and emergency medical services for the community. The three classifications are firefighter, fire engineer, and fire captain. And they are attached in draft mode. In order to start the recruitment process for paid staffing, city staff is requesting approval of the compensation and benefits resolution, along with adoption of the three classifications that were developed for the fire department. The compensation and benefits in this resolution have been specifically designed for the fire department, although a majority of the benefits mirror the same level of benefits provided to other unrepresented groups, as you'll notice in the prior item with the dispatchers. To kind of give a high-level summary, benchmark classifications, how we set the pay structure up is based off of benchmarking. So the top step for a fire captain is benchmarked at 25% above the top step of a firefighter. The top step of a fire engineer is benchmarked at 10.25% above a top step of a firefighter. So if one gets a raise, it's kind of a chain reaction. They all do, and it makes sure to keep the compaction correct. Medical premium is the same, as I just spoke on, 85% of PERS gold. Vacation accruals, the plan is at some point where the firefighters will work a 48-96 schedule, 2 on, 4 off. And because you're working 24-hour shift, looking at comparing to other agencies, a different vacation accrual was identified. It's slightly higher. And same for sick leave, which I wanted to point out on, I believe, page 53, section 6.4, there was a typo on the first line of the sentence. It should read, employees accrue 9.81 hours of sick leave. I apologize for that. And then we would also mirror the same deferred comp plan that we previously did for the dispatchers. So this is a benefits resolution. It's an unrepresented group. It's for the fire classifications, and it would give us authority to start recruiting and hire and have paid staff as of July 2025.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Elsap. And just a note, Ms. City Clerk, did you receive that correction on page 53 for on item 6.4 to 6 leave of the packet?
I do have it, but whoever makes the motion, if they
Okay.
can reference that, I would
Okay.
appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right. Any questions from council for Mr. Elsap? Councilman Clare.
Yeah, thank you. Real quick, on page 33, the packet, it talks about the firefighter hand tool use.
Yes.
So we have Halligan in with Pulaski McLeod, which is typically for fire line construction and wildland fire. Is there a way we can adjust that or make a section for wildland tools, so it's not mixed in with there? Because I think the Halligan's typically for opening forced entries on doors and cars and whatnot, if I remember. That was a long time ago.
You're correct. We can make that edit. The last sentence there on fire hand line tools, you're right. It shouldn't be with those. It should be separated or removed.
And last things, do we need to have anything else in place prior to hiring our firefighters, policies or any of that stuff? Are they going to fall under the volunteers, what they have in place right now? Is there going to be a whole new thing we're gonna have to come up with?
There is going to be revisions to the Muni code. There'll be revisions to policies, procedures, internal policies. Yes, there's still quite a lot of work to do in preparation for them to come on. But this is a major step forward to start the recruitment process while we can finish some of those other internal policies. But yes.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Any other questions from council for Mr. Elsap?
I believe I have one.
Okay, Mr. Dave.
These firefighters that we're hiring here, are they also trained medical people?
Looking at the job description, the medical qualifications go up from a firefighter to a fire engineer to a fire captain. I believe it starts off with you need your Title 22, basic CPR and first aid, and then it progresses to EMT.
Yes.
So to answer your question, yes, at this time, unless we make changes to the educational requirements, yes, you need professional level medical training.
Great.
Thank you. Any questions, Councilor Baker?
I don't have any questions.
All right.
Thanks.
I don't have any questions, so we'll go to public for questions. Okay, no questions. I'll close the public section. Okay, what are the wishes of the council? And the motion does have to include the edit on the page 53, 6.4 edit.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I will make the motion to adopt resolution 2025-14 of the City Council of the City of Yreka, approving the compensation resolution for unrepresented employees and authorizing the city manager to recruit 6 fire positions, to adopt the job descriptions as presented, and then to correct item 6.4 sick leave on page 53 of the document, to read employees accrue 9.81 hours of paid sick leave per pay period.
All right. I have the motion from Councilman Baker.
I will second that.
And the second from Councilman Davis. I'll do roll call. Councilman Clare,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yep. Yes.
Councilman Woodman,
Yes.
Baker, and then Mayor Middleton. Yes, motion passes 4-0.
Just want to say thank you, and we're looking forward to getting paid staff on board for the community.
Thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate it, John. Thank you. Okay, city manager staff reports. Mr. Ledbetter.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Yreka City Council. This is the city manager, Jason Ledbetter, and I would like to make an announcement that I think I know that the city council and staff are completely aware of, and some folks in the audience are aware of, is that I have given my resignation to the city of Yreka because I will be assuming a job for a town down in Silicon Valley. My last day here will be May 9th, and I start down at my new position on May 15th. It is with kind of a heavy heart. There's been nothing but really positive aspects to everything that I've done here within this community and for this community. But ultimately, this opportunity was such an incredible opportunity that I just felt I could not pass it by for myself and my family. But enough about that opportunity and more about my time here. I always looked at this as really a passion project, this position. I don't know anybody in this community that's a bigger supporter of the city of Yreka other than Berta Salazar Haggerty, who is my mother-in-law. And so my wife was born in this community. I'm getting emotional and teary-eyed just thinking about this community. I love this community. I plan on having a home in this community for the rest of my life. I want to see nothing but positive things for this community. And it was an absolute privilege and pleasure. I think I throttled probably too much, too often, and was trying to fix everything in this community as quickly as humanly possible. And probably it's a good opportunity to take a deep breath and just work the projects that we've created within the 40 months of me being here. But ultimately, none of that would have been feasible without the addition of Mr. Jared changing a legal representation, adding capacity to legal representation. So I thank the city council for doing that in my tenure, adding Gwen Mortoli from the water group to deal with our water issues, and adding Curtis Wright to handle code enforcement, and then bringing on a municipal attorney firm really increased the capacity here. Within my second year, we started to really move very rapidly. The staff as well. I think that when I came on here, there was already just an incredible staff that had been put together here, and to come in and lead this organization and really utilize the tools of this staff. I think you guys have one of the most remarkable staffs. I'll just say the best staff in Siskiyou County. There's no doubt in my mind. And I know moving forward, the biggest thing is just going to be to stabilize this change. And then ultimately, that fire hall obviously is a huge pinnacle project for this community, and really rallying and focusing around that over the next 3 years would be the priority that I see for this community. And I see nothing but positive things ahead for this community. And I will be back to this community very often to make sure those things are happening. So thank you very much. And I will inevitably have one more meeting on May 6th, and we'll probably do another maybe more detailed announcement of thanking individual people. But I just want to make it clear and make that announcement here formally in public tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ledbetter. Yeah, we have a few more weeks for him, but I'll just echo real fast. I know this isn't his last meeting with us, but when Mr. Ledbetter was hired, I was 6 months on to being a council member, and he entered a time with very troubled waters in the city of Yreka, with lack of vision, lack of change, uh, and for him to come in under those pressures of many, many things. I don't want to get into those, and maybe I'll get into them in a few weeks, but I just want to thank you for your time you spent here. We will miss you, but you can look back and say, wow, I did some great things there. It's not easy. We all make mistakes, but you have done some great things. And when a lot of those come to fruition, you will look back and say, I'm glad I was a part of that and part of this community. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So we'll go to council members' statements. No, do you have any staff reports tonight, or anybody from the staff wants to speak? Oh,
Yeah, I think Chief Gilman has some news on the dog traps.
Chief Gilman, I'm glad I asked. I always skip right by you.
Hello, council members.
Good
Well, I
evening.
usually didn't speak. I didn't want to follow what you said. I'm going to miss Jason like crazy. I didn't want to follow that speech. But everyone's concerned about the dogs, and I do appreciate that. So are we. We've been trying very hard. We do have net guns. I have personally netted the dogs twice. They've escaped. We had the houndsman has captured a dog once, 2 meetings back when I told you one was captured. That night after the meeting, I found out that dog escaped from him. We have the county. We've contacted the county for their cages, and they were working on it with Lieutenant Dirksen. But I think their cages are busy out in Shasta Vista or something. It just hasn't worked. So I did order a cage. I can't control shipping. I can't control any of that, but our cage should be here tomorrow. It's been on order for over a week, almost 2 weeks now. So we're going to try live trapping. We've also got people out there that tell us the dogs are friendly and they can feed them by hand. So we've asked them to catch the dogs for us, and we will come get them day or night. So we have been desperately trying. We have been out there, myself and Lieutenant Dirksen have taken it upon ourselves to get these dogs because we're tired of the complaints. So, but we are trying. We have done net guns. We've tried everything. So we're going to try live traps this week, and we'll see if that works. So I just want to let you all know that.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Okay. I'll go to you first. Do you have anything to report? Committee reports? Anything? Councilman Claire?
I will go probably into more detail in a couple of weeks when you have your final meeting, but just briefly, I wanted to say thank you very much for all you've done. I've only worked with you obviously a short amount of time, but as being a longtime citizen here, I've seen all the great things you have done, and I greatly appreciate it, and you will be missed. But I'll go into more of that in your next one. So
thank you, Mr. Claire.
the only thing I did today, I went to a Board of Supervisors meeting. They did a recognition for Sheriff Lieutenant Adam Chrissy, and they also did Deputy Chief James Roach for probation. They were acknowledged for their retirement, and I believe they're over 20 years of service apiece, if I remember that correctly. So that was kind of nice, and nice of them to do that for them and give them a kind of recognition. But that was all I have.
All right. Thank you. Councilman Davis. You represented us at Lola. Nobody could attend this time except for you.
I did.
You can
Mr. Ledbetter, it's been interesting, you and I working together, and sometimes we do well and sometimes we don't do well, but it's all in all, your work ethic stands out way above everything else. And you're a hardworking man, and I'm pretty sure you'll be successful where you're going. So good luck with that.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
You bet. I did represent the city at Lola. And just so you know, I bought a couple cases of potatoes, 50-pounders.
Wow.
Yeah, they were available. Uh, the thing that was there that happened was, I got asked about Mr. Ledbetter a couple, 3 times. And so, I discussed that for a moment. And then I discussed the things that we got to go, that we had going on. The community theater, the water storage tanks that we're putting up this spring, and the air curtain burner project, as well as the ringy pool. We're looking into that. The fire hall, of course, is our big project. And the pallet shelters, there's a chance that they may open. That's a combined effort with the county. And hopefully we will see some change on Campus Drive if with the pallet shelters opening. That would be good. It was kind of a fun time. They had a demonstration of a attack dog. Chief Hoy was there, and I'm sure Mr. Gilman knows Chief Hoy. And he had his attack dog, and they had a arm protector, and dog showed he used it more as a toy, but it was serious business. I mean, he grabbed a hold of that arm protector and jerked it around, and it was kind of interesting how and the dog was just fine. Chief gave him the signal and right there, right back at him. It was well trained, and it was a great demonstration. I was really impressed with it. Other than that, not much over there happened. It was a beautiful day and got lots of bugs in my windshield.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Davis. Councilman Baker.
Thank you. Mr. Ledbetter, I'm just simply not prepared to make comments tonight. But I will have them prepared at the next meeting. And I think I'm doing a really good job of holding it together. I definitely have enjoyed working with you just tremendously. And we're all going to miss you.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've had some wonderful conversations about just life in general in my office, and I will certainly miss those. And I appreciate it. And yeah, there'll be more, hopefully, a broader conversation about this at the next meeting. So thank you very much.
So moving on April 8th, I met with the small committee for the Citizen of the Year recognition banquet that is being planned for the 2025 Citizen of the Year. It's being planned for February of next year. And we will start meeting on a regular basis on the 4th Tuesday of every month to get everything in place for that. And excuse me, my allergies have gotten the best of me. But I was hoping that perhaps we could arrange either corporately or individually a tour of the pallet shelter. I would really like to just get in there and just walk around and take a look at everything if that's possible. And that's all I have.
All right.
I will, Miss Baker, I'll work on organizing a tour for everybody to attend individually, and then, but specifically knowing that you would like to attend, we'll get something going.
Thank you.
All right. I don't think I have much to report, actually. I wasn't able to attend the Lola meeting, so Council Davis was the only one who could attend, and he represented us in Tule Lake, right? Tule Lake. That's why he got the potatoes out in their basin, so that was good. With that said, I think I'll wish everybody a good evening and adjourn the meeting. Have a good night.